What incident restored your faith in humanity? When I was 8, I had this teacher named Mrs. Alvarado. She wasn't the cool teacher everyone wanted. She was old, like actually old, and she wore the same 3 cardigans on rotation, but she noticed stuff other teachers didn't. I was obsessed with drawing, like couldn't stop. During math, during lunch, during literally everything. I'd draw superheroes fighting on the margins of my worksheets, cars racing down the sides of my spelling tests, whole imaginary cities on notebook paper. My mom would get mad because I'd go through notebooks so fast, but drawing was the only thing that made sense to me. One day I showed up to class without my notebook. Mrs. Alvarado asked where it was, and I just shrugged. Truth was, my mom had ripped out all the pages the night before to write her grocery lists on. We were broke, like really broke. The kind where you wear shoes 2 sizes too small because new ones aren't happening. I felt like an idiot explaining that we couldn't afford a $1 notebook, so I just said I forgot it. She didn't push it. But the next morning there was a sketch pad on my desk. Not the cheap kind either. The real one with thick pages. No note, no announcement. She was already teaching when I walked in, acting like nothing happened. I looked at her, and she just gave me this tiny nod and kept talking about fractions. It became our thing. Every few weeks, I'd find new pencils, erasers, colored markers, whatever. She'd leave them in my desk cubby or tucked in my homework folder. Never made a big deal about it. Never told anyone. I never said thank you out loud because I didn't know how. But I drew her a picture once of a superhero teacher with a cape, and she taped it to her filing cabinet. Other kids thought I was her favorite, but it wasn't like that. She just saw I needed something and gave it to me without making me feel small. Middle school hit, and I moved schools. Then high school. Then life just happened. I stopped drawing for a while because everyone said art wasn't a real job. I worked at a warehouse, did some community college, bounced around, but I always came back to drawing. It was the only thing that felt like mine. Eventually, I went to art school. Took out loans I'm still paying off, but whatever. I worked my ass off, built a portfolio, started getting freelance gigs, magazine covers, book illustrations, album art. Then a gallery in New York reached out about doing my first solo exhibit, my first real show. I wanted Mrs. Alvarado there. I didn't even know if she was alive, honestly. She was already old back then, but I tracked down her address through the school district, sent her a letter with a plane ticket inside, and waited. 2 weeks later, she called. Her voice sounded exactly the same. She said she'd be there. The night of the exhibit, I was a wreck. I kept adjusting the frames, reorganizing the layout, checking my phone. Then she walked in wearing one of those same cardigans, and I almost lost it. I had this whole collection called Paper Dreams. Every piece was about things people throw away but shouldn't. There was one giant drawing right at the entrance. It showed a kid sitting at a desk, and a teacher handing him a notebook. Underneath, the plaque said, "For Mrs. Alvarado, who believed a piece of paper could change a life." She stood there staring at it for like 5 minutes. I walked over, and she hugged me without saying anything. During my speech, I talked about how I grew up thinking kindness was fake, something you saw in movies or read about in books but didn't actually exist in real life. Then this teacher I barely knew started leaving art supplies on my desk. She didn't want credit, didn't want thanks. She just did it because she saw a kid who needed help. That one act convinced me people could be good. Like, actually good. Not for clout or recognition, just because. And I wanted my art to make other people feel that same thing. That maybe the world isn't completely messed up. That someone out there might notice you and care without needing anything back. After the speech, Mrs. Alvarado came up to me and said, "I always knew you'd do something amazing. You just needed to believe it too." I asked her why she did it, why she spent her own money on some random kid who couldn't even afford notebook paper. She said, "Because you reminded me why I became a teacher. Sometimes one person believing in you is all it takes." That exhibit sold out. I donated 10% of everything to buy art supplies for Title I schools. Mrs. Alvarado cried when I told her. She said she was proud of me, and I realized I'd been waiting 18 years to hear that.